Hey guys, have you ever tried to make a decision on which Nikon lenses you need? Well, today we're going to share you our list of the best Nikon lenses for wedding photography to make your decision that much easier when you're buying a brand new lens. Let's go. Before we get started, if you are new to our channel, I'd like to say welcome. Here we share all things wedding world and photography tips and tricks. And if that is your cup of tea, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so that we know which videos you like best and how to produce ones just like it. Alright guys, so today we're going to talk about the 6 lenses that you really need to have as a wedding photographer. These Nikon lenses are the ones that are going to get you through any scenario on a wedding day that you come across without you feeling stressed or anxious because you have the right tool for the time of day in the wedding that you need. Okay, so we're going to start with our prime lenses first. There are 4 of them, and I'm going to start with the 35. Now this one is a 1.8, but I am in the process of getting a 1.4. And a 35 is really good for getting landscape shots, getting that full sweep of the venue, ceremony, reception, where you're getting everything that you possibly need. Can you use this for a portrait lens? Yes. Do I use this for a portrait lens? Yes. It gives me a lot of variety when I'm wanting to get those tight middle wide shots. So this is a must to have on a wedding day. Next we have that 50mm lens, and this is a 1.4. Now this, when I first started as a wedding photographer, was my go-to. I didn't even have a detail lens. This is what I used for that, and it really showed because I didn't have enough of the focal range that I needed to give variety in my work. But this gets beautiful, creamy, dreamy skin. Love it. This is such a useful lens for us that we have one for both myself and Jason. The next one is the 85. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I fought Jason on getting an 85 for a long time. I love to have a limited amount of gear with me. I like to be able to move fast, and the idea of having more lenses was just something I didn't want to do. However, he was right. This became very quickly one of my favorite lenses to use, not only for portraits, but also this and the 105 allow me to have really tight, close-up editorial dancing shots on the reception, on that dance floor, without having to get in the mix of things where I get elbowed, my gear gets elbowed, but it looks like I was right in the middle of the action. Lastly, with our prime lenses, this is the 105. I could only, if I wanted to, just use this for detail shots throughout the day. However, this is really great for good compression in a picture, for having some great unique looks in your portraiture. And so I would encourage you, if you have a micro lens or a micro lens, that you use it for portraiture, not just for invitation suites and details for getting ready. It will change the look of your pictures and give you a wider range of options. So why have prime lenses? Why not just do zoom lenses all the time? We find that having the prime lenses, they have better glass. The bokeh on them is often a lot better. The skin tones are creamier. And we've also found that the imagery is just sharper. Now, does that mean that I don't have any zoom lenses in my arsenal? No. And we are definitely going to talk about those in just a minute. But the reality is, 90% of the wedding day, I'm going to probably defer to my prime lenses before I go moving into my zoom lenses. Because oftentimes we're in dark venues, receptions, places sometimes that have no windows, and we're having to use off-camera light, off-camera flash. But I still need that low lens, that 1.4, that prime lens, that's what it can give me to be able to get better pictures in dark settings. And that is is why we have prime lenses primarily as our go-to first. All right, guys, so question of the day: what is your favorite lens on a wedding day? I really want to know, so shoot a comment down below. Tell me. So now we're going to get into zoom lenses, and my 24-70 was one of the first zoom lenses that I ever had. I used it a ton for family portraits. I used it a ton for other portraiture sessions outside of weddings. And as my wedding photography grew, I moved more into the prime lenses. However, there are certain times throughout the wedding day where either myself or Jason have to have this 24-70 on our camera. And the reason is either we're moving super fast from one thing to the next and the timeline is really tight and I need that wide range of focal options, or I'm needing him to be on the 24-70, which is pretty often, and I'm on a portrait lens on a prime lens and he's using this. That gives us multiple options very quickly, very rapidly, and so for that reason, I think you always need to have a 24-70 in your arsenal. So the last lens that we're going to talk about is the 70-200. This is a pretty big lens, and when we first really got into wedding photography, this was used for ceremonies. This was used primarily in situations where we weren't allowed to move. Say you're in a Catholic church or a particular denomination that says you cannot move from this spot, and the ceremony has a very, very long aisle. You're going to need something like this in order to get close enough up that you have those tight shots of the first kiss, you have those tight shots of them exchanging rings without getting in trouble with whoever is performing the ceremony. Now, there's something else that this lens is really good for, and Jason pointed this out to me recently on a shoot that we were at. I really prefer, again, to go light, to have, light lenses. This thing is heavy, and so I wouldn't recommend using it all day long, but if you want really good background compression on your images, this one is amazing. It separates that background from that subject, makes everything else behind it super creamy, and for that reason, this is something that we're pulling out more and more frequently, not only just for the ceremonies, but also for portraiture and for having a really good range of images, again, when we're moving super fast on a wedding day. If you are just getting started as a wedding photographer, please do yourself a favor. If nothing else, listen to this. I have gone into all of these 6 lenses for a reason. We started out and spent money on the cheapest glass, what was affordable at the time. And while I didn't have a top-of-the-line camera, even though it was full frame, it still wasn't the newest, latest, greatest, and shiniest. The problem was my images were just okay. So here's reality. If you invest in good glass, good quality, low f-stop glass, even if you have a D750, your images are going to be that much better than if you have an old camera body and a crappy, really cheap piece of glass in your lens. So take the time, invest so that you don't have to make the mistake that I did, where I had to go back and spend more money to buy better glass, and then I'm left with a lens that I can't use, and I definitely can't get really any money back for it. If you want more than just a list of camera lenses for your Nikon, head to the show notes below. We have a link for the best photography gear that you need as a beginning wedding photographer. If you want more photography tips and tricks just like this, head to the playlist over here and make sure that you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any new content. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.